Today, I want to invite you to see leadership in a new light, a light that speaks to the challenge of our times and also the call for a different kind of leader in the year that is coming ahead very soon. As leaders, we are not here merely to talk about managing, overseeing, or controlling things or people. No. Today, I want to invite you to step into three roles which I see essential for leaders in 2025. And these three roles are to unite, to inspire, and to lead. And in this rapidly changing world, where uncertainty is the norm, it is these three roles that will define true leaders, the ones who don't just adjust to the times but also transform them. Today, I'm talking to who you are rather than who you think you are. Today, I'm talking to the part of you that is interconnected with others and not what makes you separate. Today, I'm talking to a part of you that stays alive inside of you even when you lose everything on the outside. And I'm not talking to everything that you have gathered as accomplishments, as proof to show who you are or how powerful you are, but to exactly who you are without all of your accomplishments or accolades. So let's dive into these three roles, because each one of these roles is a powerful invitation for you to rise above what leadership has been in the past and to step boldly into the future. Role 1 is to unite, to bring people together rather than to pull them apart. And our first role as leaders in 2025 is to unite. Division and polarization seem to have become the norm these days. Like whenever we open the TV or the news, politics or business, division and polarization seem to dominate everywhere. But as leaders, we are tasked with bringing people together, finding common ground, and building bridges instead of walls. And it is easy to find reasons to stay divided. It is easy to do us versus them. It is easy to say you are wrong or they are wrong. And it is very easy to focus on what separates us. Differences in opinion, differences in approach, and even differences in our personality and differences in our skin color, and in our countries, in our nationalities, cultures, religions, and so on. But true leadership asks us to do more. It asks us to see beyond the differences and not see the differences of the person standing beside us. True leadership asks us to tap into what unites us, not what divides us. And imagine a leader who stands at the center, not swayed by everything happening around them, but deeply rooted in a vision that brings people together. Right? What brings people together is a vision, is a dream of a future where everybody, even with their differences, have an equal role, have an equal part to play. And I once worked with a team where tensions were very high and everybody saw each other as a problem, as an obstacle, rather than allies working together. And they were competing rather than collaborating. And as their coach, I asked them to find one shared goal that they could all rally around. One purpose that went beyond their individuals' agendas. Right? We all care about stuff individually, but can we find something which we all can rally behind? That is what unites people. And the shift in that team was transformative. Once they aligned around a common vision, they began to see each other as partners, as co-passengers in that journey. And the whole atmosphere changed from one of rivalry to one of unity. The lesson here is that, right, as leaders, that shift to unity is not going to happen on its own. We are here to do that. We are here to unite. We are here to find common ground, even when it is easy to see that we are standing on different grounds. That is our role. And that is when our role as leaders become the most important. And it is our role to help people see that we are stronger together rather than what we are alone. It's so easy to say, let's stand alone, let's do our own thing. You are this, I am this is right, this is wrong. But in 2025, this is not just a nice idea. This is an urgent imperative. We need leaders who are unifiers, who can stand in the middle of opposing forces and bring coherence where once there was only chaos. So commit to unity. See the potential in bringing people together, create a story which binds people together, and create environments where every voice is valued. Because when we are united, we are unstoppable. Together as a team and individuals, we are unstoppable when we are together. When we stand together, we can actually change what really matters to us rather than fighting with each other. I will leave you with a few questions. Ask yourself, how can you help your team move beyond individual agendas to focus on their shared dreams, values, and goals? Question 2. How comfortable are you in taking a stand as a unifier, even amid conflicting opinions? What vision, number 3, what vision can you create to inspire unity and bring everybody together with a sense of we are in this together across your organization? The second role for leaders in the coming year is going to be to inspire, to provoke people, even to provoke people to go beyond what they see is possible. And inspiration is not merely to motivate or encourage or support. Inspiration is igniting something within somebody else that calls them from the inside, and that calls them to go beyond their own perceived limits. That is inspiration. Everybody has a spark inside them, but can you lit a flame to that? That's leadership. That's inspiration. And that starts by listening for that spark inside everybody, listening for what deeply matters to somebody, and then turning it into a flame. That is inspiration. So inspiration is not about telling people to work harder or to push them to meet better goals. That's not inspiration. It is about helping people see possibilities that they never even considered. It is about helping people believe in themselves even more deeply than they have ever done before. And inspiration is about asking what is possible for you, and then standing beside them, standing with your people as they step into that possibility. To give you an example, one of my clients, a brilliant entrepreneur, came to me with a big ceiling that they have created just in their own mind. They were convinced that they could only grow their business to a certain point, and they were never able to come up with a bigger number even when I was prodding them, because they were convinced that beyond a certain point they would fail. And I asked them a very simple question. What if that ceiling, what if that limit that you think that there is no limit, that doesn't even exist? And what if their potential wasn't bound by what has happened in the past, or what they have done in the past, or what they have succeeded or failed at in the past, or what even they think their current capabilities are? And this question sparked a journey that led them not only to exceed their initial goals, but to literally redefine their sense of what was possible. See, we don't see something as impossible because there is something impossible about it. We call something impossible because we don't imagine ourselves doing it. So when you work on your own perception of what you can do, what was impossible earlier becomes possible. That is inspiration. And the lesson here is that as leaders, we all have the power to awaken other people to their own potential, which they do not themselves see. But it requires boldness on our part also, right? Because that is discomforting. That's not an easy conversation to tell somebody or to show somebody that more could be possible for you, which they don't themselves believe in. And it requires us to dare people to dream bigger. It requires us to sometimes upset people or offend people. And it requires us to question limits and to explore the unknown. It also requires us to explore our own limits of what we think is possible, not possible for us and also for others. To inspire is to disrupt the ordinary and then point towards the extraordinary. If people see where you're pointing towards, from the ordinary to the extraordinary, that is inspiration. So don't settle for leading people to where they think they can go. That's the easy way out. Lead them beyond that. Help them see that they can become more than what they think they can become. If somebody is able to think of a particular goal, challenge them to think bigger. Your role as a leader to inspire somebody only comes when you ask somebody, challenge somebody, work with somebody, support somebody to go after a dream, a goal which they think is outside of their own limits. That's leadership. And when you inspire, you don't just change that moment. You don't just change that goal. You change the trajectory of somebody else's life. When people can do what they think once was impossible, they stop being that old person and they become a totally different person. That is leadership. The third role for leaders in the upcoming year is to actually lead. And what I mean by lead is to express yourself freely and then set an example. Leadership is not an obligation. Leadership is a choice which comes from freedom, not which comes from burden or obligation or heaviness. Leadership is about freedom that encourages others to express themselves, and you lead by examples by expressing yourself freely. You express yourself freely by making bold choices, and then to not be stopped by fears which we all have as human beings. To lead is not to control or to direct, because that comes from fear. From freedom, true leaders inspire others. They inspire others to step into their own power and autonomy, but it's also about showing other people that they don't have to conform, that they can express who they are, that they can express their opinions freely and then stand confidently in their own truth. To give you an example from my own life, there was a time in my life when I played it safe. I stayed within the lines. I followed a path that others had laid out for me. But I realized that true leadership, what I was called for, was requiring me to step outside of that box of being an engineer, which was limiting me after 16 years of prosperity as an engineer. And as a result, I left a career that did not fulfill me anymore and then embarked on a journey that felt uncertain, very scary, but also very true to me. And in doing so, I realized that leadership is not about just staying within boundaries. It is about breaking those boundaries to actually find out what is real and to find out what is possible for each one of us. The lesson that I learned was that when you lead with freedom, from a place of love and care, and not from fear or hurt or pressure, you also show others that they too can make bold choices. When you give yourself permission to show up freely, you also give others permission to show up freely. And imagine a world where every leader inspired others to be unapologetically themselves, where every leader encouraged others to live in alignment with what was true for them internally. Imagine a world like that. So lead with freedom, set the example, and don't be afraid to express your own values, your vision, your boundaries, even when they are uncomfortable. Because in expressing your true self, you also grant everybody else permission to do the same. So just to recap, the 3 roles. These are not just ideas, right? They are calls to action. When you bring people together, you create an unstoppable force. So the 3 roles once again are to unite, to be the bridge that brings people together, that finds common ground, and that sees the strength in unity. Number 2, to inspire, to awaken people to their own potential, to showing them that they can go beyond what they believe is possible. And number 3 is to lead, and to live and lead with freedom, setting the example and showing others that they too can be true to themselves and speak freely. And when you lead with authenticity and courage, you set an example that is much beyond your own life, your own results, your own accolades. And in a world that is often divided, like ours today, that is plagued by self-doubt, criticism, limitation, these 3 roles for leaders stand as almost like a lighthouse. And as we as leaders deal with day-to-day, deal with the challenges that we have to face, we can always look at these 3 roles as 3 lighthouses, always guiding us to unite, to inspire, and to lead. Remember, true leadership is not about simply holding a position or directing others. It is about connecting others through what we jointly care about. It is about seeing what is possible rather than what is not possible. And it is about being a role model of true freedom from choice and not from pressure. And when you step into these roles, you become a catalyst for change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone else that you touch. So as you go forward, ask yourself, how can I unite where others would divide? How can I inspire where others might settle? And how can I lead with a freedom that encourages everyone to live their own truth? Thank you.